What's up, guys? Subderek here, back for another VOD review. We got another Rank 1 North America VOD review, but we got a new player in a Rank 1, Xbmots here. This VOD review is brought to you, of course, why am I saying, why I'm reading it like it's an actual ad, by the new replay functionality. As you can see here, me going through the replay, trying to see if there's any way to speed up the VOD, because I still don't believe that is the case, that you can do that. But yeah, new Rank 1 player, Xbmots, another player who doesn't really stream, so we got to resort to this new functionality, which I'm so jazzed about, because we can actually do these kind of reviews now. Already interesting play there, where he's not really interested in holding. He wasn't interested in holding the Aphelios. He was interested in holding Corki pair, maybe for actually like Corki reroll angle. But the other thing that's pretty cool is he's even just willing to pick up Corki in the first place. I think a lot of people early on in the patch thought, AD's not very good. You're just always angling. Or Idealism, great pickup. Patient Study, great pickup. Curious to see what he takes here. I think in the AD kind of line, Patient Study seems really nice, but I really like Idealism in spots like this. I think he might think that his items are... No, I mean, Idealism... what he's probably doing in this spot, by the way, which you can't sadly see in the review, is scouting and saying, like, okay, is it realistic for me to take Hodge here and then just play for a Yone game? Because your items look fantastic for Yone, right? You have half Titans, half Hodge, half Evan Shroud, and you already have the Hodge. So you could go for like other IE components off your item little guys. So yeah, but I think he sees probably that Yones end up contested in this lobby, so we are just going to play something else in this spot. Probably not Mosh or Gnar reroll, but that would be very funny. But yeah, I think in Xbmots' head right now, he's saying that he's probably playing some kind of either AD flex game. He might already in his head saying that he's playing this this AD. It's not even really flex, because it's kind of flex, but it's just this Ezreal Zed comp, and sometimes you flex out Ezreal and sometimes you flex out Zed. So I mean that's flex, right? That's flex. If sometimes I play like Viego instead of Zed, and sometimes I play Caitlyn instead of Ezreal, I mean that's the most flexible TFT gameplay you could ever expect. But yeah, I think in his head he's already saying like I'm probably playing around this comp because I have Patient Study, which is going to easily push me to level 8. Once again, really interesting his low prio in holding these Heartsteel units, because I would think you'd be really interested in holding them if you wanted to play this comp. It's possible maybe he's hedging his bets, that part of it is like 80 flex and part of it is like a Karthus Akali idea with this Lilia pair, because if you want to play Karthus Akali, you kind of need to get the Lilias early. So yeah, it's interesting. We'll see what he ends up actually playing this game. I glanced at the endgame board and saw that it was cool, and I was like, yeah, I'll review this game. I mean, the item that he takes here is going to be very telling for what he's going to play in this spot, and it's Rod. Wow. Okay, so definitely looking like a more AP angle. Maybe, definitely seems like Karthus Akali based on the fact that he picked up this Rod, but not 100% sure. We'll see. I really wish, man, I'm telling you guys, once it becomes fully unlocked, the ability to look at all these perspectives and speed up, like then I'll be able to like scout around in the lobby and see what's going on. It's gonna be so sick. But yeah, Rod means we're basically never playing this comp. Yeah, he's just gonna go for the Morellos, which is a very solid item here, and make Nashor's Tooth. Morello's Nashor's. So to me, it looks like we're certainly angling towards a Twisted Fate game from this setup. We have Tier open, which is probably gonna end up being either like a Static Shiv or an Archangel's. Could even be like a frontline item of like a Protector's Vow or Redemption or something. I think that's why he's not popping the other item Anvil, which is very controlled. I always, I like to talk about when people do like really controlled gameplay like this, where they hold the tome. They don't just like willy-nilly pop the tome, do whatever. They say, you know what, I'm gonna wait. There's no reason to pop this here because I don't actually know what I'm getting off Krugs. And like imagine, right, that you pop this and you take a bow because you're like, oh, okay, I'll just make Static Shiv. Static Shiv's great. But then you get dropped a bow from Krugs. Well, then your game looks really bad because what are you doing with that extra bow, right? You've already built Nashor's. You've already built Morello, so you can't build red buff. Like, bow doesn't build into a single frontline item. I guess you can go Titan's Blitzcrank. But yeah, so it's really nice gameplay, I would say, to not pop this last Anvil here, because if you get dropped a bow here, then you're never in any case making taking a bow. Similar thing, like if you get dropped a Rod here and you can go for something like Archangels, then you want like frontline component. So you're very often going to want a frontline component. But see something like Glove here makes the value of something like Chain way higher, where like you probably weren't taking a Chain normally, but now you might be interested in taking Chain. I would be interested in something like an Archangel's here, but he's just going to take the belt. Interesting belt. Just for frontline item, I guess. Yeah. He's looking at like potentially a Warmug, Steadfast Heart. Can't be Morello's. Could even be like a Sunfire cape. We shall see what the item ends up being. But yeah, he just wants the... Yeah, actually, I like this a lot now that I think about it, the belts here, because I think I would have fallen into the trap here of saying, well, I want to slam an item here. I want to make Archangels here. It's a very solid TF item. But if you make Archangels here, you run a huge risk of your components getting really grief late game. It's just Keeper's take here. I mean, Tiny Titans is, wow, we're really low actually, 55. I might have to take Tiny Titans, but Keepers is so good in this comp. I would, yeah, okay. He's gonna go the Tiny Titans because he's afraid that he's just gonna straight up die, which is a very fair fear. And he's gonna pick up this this emo duo carry. I think this is something that people end up playing a lot around in this comp. You could even think about potentially moving these items off the Bard onto the Vex, but maybe he's thinking about potentially like Vex 2 as an idea. But yeah, this is something that you end up playing around a lot actually as an early item carrier in this comp, is this emo duo of Vex plus Amumu, just because they fit so well onto the board, right? So the Amumu is a guardian for Taric, and then the Vex is just a really, really nice AP item carrier. But yeah, he gets rewarded here for holding onto the Bard, gets Bard 2, which is going to be a really, really nice item carrier. Okay, the music, like, blew my mind for a second. It almost sounds like two songs playing, but it's just one song that has, like, two interweaved melodies. I was like, what's going on here? It's also possible that maybe he wants to go for, like, Shojin here over something like an Archangels. I don't love a Shojin in this spot, but if he does make it, it'll make me think a lot more about my my disco itemization. I like my favorite item I mean, I just love... I love Archangels maybe a bit too much in this disco comp. I feel like it's so nice for the game plan that you usually go for. Spat's not going to do anything in this comp. He could finish out a frontline item here, or it looks like, yeah, he really, really prizes the Shojin with the Nashers here, just to get TF casting a bunch of times. So that's the idea. He really wants Shojin, Nashers, Morellos. My only fear with this build is that it's a little bit low damage, but maybe it's enough. It's really interesting to see this Shojin prio, because I mean, I think most people will say like, oh yeah, I mean, you play Shojin, it's a really good TF item, but my fear is just like, TF's gonna cast a lot with this build, but not actually like kill a lot of units with because like Shojin is like a mana item, and Nashers is in many ways also a mana item, and then Morello is like a damage item, but it's not even like the most damage item of all time. It's sort of like these small casts that do a little bit of damage. But yeah, he's gonna say this is gonna be enough. I mean, the nice thing about this TF comp is that if you can push 8, if you can push 9, then you have a really, really good chance of like capping your board out, and you don't really need to rely on TF as the solo damage source. Also, just with the once people found the like Spellweaver variation of it, where you play more around this this like Lulu and the Echo, you also have some extra supplemental damage from the Lulu. So I could certainly see it. I mean, obviously Shojin and Nashers have good synergy. You get the TF casting, and you give him attack speed, and that attack speed feeds right back into the Shojin to make you cast more. So maybe it's just that this combinations of items is so strong that you kind of have to go for it. I mean, I could certainly see it. Holy, what a shot is that, by the way. We pick up the Gragas 2 and the Blitzcrank already. Curious if we're going to go for a 4-1 or a 4-2 here. The way he's pre-leveling there, it kind of looks like a 4-1. I think a 4-1 is pretty appropriate when you have this amount of gold, but we'll see. I mean, that's Spark TG. I don't even dislike that here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to hold, and he's going to 4-2 it, actually. He wants to have the max amount of gold to sort of like guarantee that he can find TF here. There's the Spark. Ooh, is it actually TG? It might not be. Steadfast Heart is an amazing item. The problem is, if you go Steadfast Heart, then what becomes of this extra glove, right? Like, I almost want something like TG here because it really makes it easy to get rid of both these gloves. Because if you go Steadfast Heart here, then you're left with Belt Glove open, and you might end up with just an open glove at the end of the game, but maybe that's not the end of the world. Augment-wise here, you just want good combat augment. Crown Guarded seems fine by me. He's gonna, oh yeah, actually this item grab bag one is really, really nice as well. Echo, probably not good enough. Dazzler TF is certainly going to be good enough here. He holds the extra Nami so that he can fit Dazzler in. A really, really nice play. And gets even more gloves. So now he's certainly going to be making a TG. Probably, I mean, you probably just make Shojin, right? Yeah, Shojin, Warlock Steadfast Heart. Looks really, really nice. Yeah, this, I always forget. I underrate this item grab bag augment a decent bit, but I think the stats say it's like fantastic in almost all circumstances, just because 3 components, a little bit of gold, or a forger will like always be good. But yeah, I mean now, because we're so healthy with the Tiny Titans, because we've actually hit our board relatively quickly, because we hit TF and we have the Lulu too, like we have these smaller units 2-starred, we can just push levels from this spot, right? We can just go 9. We also have the Patient Study that allows us to hit here. So really, really nice play by Xbmots here, realizing one, like what the item prio should be here, because this Shojin Nashers is I mean, it's probably going to do work on this TF, I would imagine. We'll see. And the other thing that's really nice is just his prioritization of econ, right? Waiting until the 4-2, saying, I'm healthy enough, like, I'm not going to be dead here. I mean, Steadfast Heart on the second Blitzcrank would be awesome. Ooh, Warmox and Steadfast taken immediately. What do you take here, then? Just the Kiana, but the Kiana's taken as well. Yeah, I think he just kicks Cloak here for a potential frontline item. Yeah, I mean, that's a rough carousel. All the really, really nice pickups there were immediately taken, so pretty unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, at this point, we're just going to go 9. You could even Reforge here, I guess. The problem is if you Reforge Cloak into something, like, bad, if you Reforge Cloak into Sword, I guess you go second Shojin. Like, is Cloak the worst? It's not really the worst component, because, like, if you get, like, an Adapticone later is really, really nice. A Declaw later, depending on the lobby, is really, really nice. So, I don't know. You'd have to scout and see. Gargoyles is completely fine, so you probably hold these 3 components open, and then if anything, you Reforge once you see what your items off Raptors are. Ooh, we got a little Kane pair going on here. I mean, that could certainly be a random unit on this board. If you guys didn't watch my stream yesterday, I played Kane carry Disco because I never found a TF the entire game. And it wasn't bad, right? The Disco heals him up. You have really, really strong frontline in the Blitzcrank, so like oftentimes the Blitz can tank for the Viego as long as you position appropriately. So it's not bad. 42 HP here really goes to show the value of that Tiny Titans. If we hadn't taken Tiny Titans, we would be 12 here, though hopefully taking an extra Comet Augment would have saved us a little bit of HP, but still, we would be quite low here, so I think the Tiny Titans, especially with the Patient Study, just made so much sense here, though. Oh, it feels so bad to pass over such an insane augment. Ooh, okay, not bad options by any means here. We have the Steadfast Heart, which is going to be kind of an auto slam. And then he's going to go for Nashers here, and wow, maybe another Shojin here. He doesn't even finish the Blitzcrank items. That's wild to me. Pick up a Ziggs here, fantastic pickup here. Ended up having to sort of sell these extra Canes here just to find units, and yeah, it was also a really early 9, right? He could have potentially, like, sacked one more, but he's 42 HP. He's kind of afraid that, like, if we don't roll here, we're going to lose fights. Like, especially, like, a fight like this, right? We absolutely would have lost this fight if we hadn't gone 9. So, I think it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, at this point, he's just going to be rolling it to 0, looking for better stuff. Wow! Wow, he plays the Sona here. This is something that I've been very, I don't know, I've thought a lot about, and I had really come to the conclusion in my head that, also Lucky Gloves on this Gragas, by the way, that Sona 1 is worse than Lulu 2, because you're losing 2 Hyper Pop, you're losing, like, a 2-star Lulu that has CC. This Sona is going to have, like, a lot of trouble actually casting. The nice thing is that once you get to 9, you have a very tanky frontline, and he has a Shojin for her, so perhaps that's the tiebreaker. And wow, just the roll to 0 every round. Kiana's a fantastic unit on this board. Usually you end up cutting, I mean, you could theoretically cut the Zac for this. You could cut, you can even really cut the Taric for this. The problem is you have to, then you drop down to 4 Disco and you have to position for it, but most people like to get Kiana, like, once you hit Kiana 2 to get it in late game, you play it, but yeah, it's an interesting, I mean, he's always going to play the Nami, right? With Dazzler TF, he would just end up dropping down to 4 Disco. Okay. Item-wise here, we still need to finish our Blitzcrank item here, and Gargoyles does that perfectly, and it's on a Zig, so yeah, I can't be upset about that whatsoever. It's a very, very nice pickup for us here. Perfect Blitz item. Ooh, and there's the Alawi. Alawi spikes the board really hard, and now he's gonna do the balls positioning here. I'm so sorry. Joe Bookmark said it once, and now I have it stuck in my head forever. This positioning that a lot of people are talking about when you play this comp is that it's really hard to position appropriately against, especially boards like this. Like, this is actually a prime example of a board where it's really good, is the Ezreal can only ult 1 clump here, so the Zig stays alive, the TF even ends up living here, which is huge. So yeah, this is why you do that positioning. It's for those Ezreal boards, for anyone with, like, a big AoE. The other nice thing is that it allows you to swap your carries really quickly, so, like, if there's a Riven on the left side, you can really, like, immediately swap over your TF to the right side without having to swap the Disco Balls, and you can swap your tanks as well. It's also really, really good into the Executioners board, which, yep, we're going to fight this here. These Executioners are going to waste casts on these tentacles, then our frontline's going to walk up, and you see how spread our frontline is there. It's really, really nice, and yeah, I think without this positioning, we would probably lose to Pitsy's board, so really, really smart positioning from Xbmots here. This is something that a lot of people have been talking about, actually. Okay, so I think this is just going to end up being our board. It looks like, especially with this positioning, he prefers the 5 Disco to the Kiana. I mean, I think it's better, unless you hit, like, Kiana 2. If you hit Kiana 2, I'm actually down to drop down to 4 Disco, but we'll see. We have 2 5 costs here, so that we probably have to roll for just a 2-star here, and And level 9 is pretty hard to get to in a spot like this. So yeah, let's just roll down. Find a Ziggs too. Even just completely skips the Kiana there. Final Ziggs item here, ideally. Gunblade looks fantastic. And yeah, we're really, really happy about this spot. But yeah, I'm so curious about that Lulu choice over the Sona. Also interesting, he opts to be attack speed Sona here. I think this makes sense because Sona with these items is going to have trouble actually like killing units. I do think when you're playing like the damage Sona is really, really good in a lot of other situations and versus certain comps, right? If you're playing against certain boards where you want that like backline access, the damage Sona can be nice, especially once you hit Sona too. Oh, something I noticed from this guy, he just rolls it to 0 every round. I mean, obviously in this spot you want to roll to 0, but his rolling earlier was really interesting, where he was just rolling it to 0 to stabilize as much as he could. I mean, 16 HP, this is a very, very close spot. He could easily die if he fights someone really, really strong, but at the same time, his board is insanely strong. We're going to fight a too big to fail TF board here that has our exact same board, or our exact same TF items. So yeah, maybe this is common knowledge that you always just go. I mean, he's got 3 Shojin on his board, 2 Nashers. He's really looking for this Shojin Nashers setup. So yeah, I mean, it certainly makes sense. The Nashers is really strong on TF with the new attack speed scaling. The Shojin is a very solid item, and then the Merlos helps him apply the healing reduction, and it's going to be enough damage here. We're going to move the Ziggs over, which tends to be good positioning because we want to give Hyper Pop over to TF. It's a little scary against some of these like AoE boards, but hopefully it'll be okay. Yep, good TF cast here, and the Blitzcrank doing a really, really good job. The backline of the Blitzcrank is so that sometimes he can dodge Vex casts, though I don't know if that's always going to occur in spots like this. He's going to take a Lowy 2 with Sterax here. Fantastic pickup here. Might allow us to actually end up winning out the entire lobby because yeah, this Alawi 2 is just what the doctor ordered. It's everything that we need in a spot like this. Just gonna send a Sterax on her because it's a great item. Well, it's a good enough item on Alawi, I'll say. Maybe not great. Great is a bit too much. We're gonna fight Hungry Hip. Wait, that is not what their name is, and I'm not gonna read their name. This is the Vex player again. We fought their real last time. I think this is their clone now. Yeah. No, this is their real. Oh, I thought we fought their real last time, but I guess we fought their clone, and now we fought their real. Beat their real. And we're just going to continue to roll down, look for the Sona. Found Nami too, which is actually a pretty nice upgrade. And he's going to full spread here as far away as possible from each other. Is Cottontail the Ezreal board? I don't know. I guess we'll end up seeing. I feel like we haven't seen that board in a while. He's going to swap the TF last second as well to try to dodge stuff. Yeah, it is the Ezreal board. That's also hit Jhin too. But the TF on this side, really, really crucially, the Dazzler, the Jhin here, yeah, with 2 casts ends up taking down the Jhin. Fantastic positioning out of Xbmots. Going to win him the fight and going to take us to stage 7, baby. Stage 7 for this final fight to determine who is going to win the game. Also, with this patient study, we've accrued so much XP. Like, we could almost go 10. The problem is, it's just we got 1 fight left. Maybe if we had econed up more, but he really wanted to play for strongest board at all time. Look for upgrades here, which is, I mean, I would say absolutely the right call. Gonna roll down here, try to pick up a Sona 2. We don't find it. Probably just going to take... He's going to go for the, he's just going to go for the redemption here onto Alawi, a really good tank item, and ends up removing the TG because it was weak items onto the Gragas, and then just moves over to the Echo, which better item holder, and, actually ends up hitting better items. Once again, really good TF positioning. Look, ends up sniping out that Jhin, which I think is just enough to win that fight. Fantastic positioning from Xbmots here, and you can see why this guy is a rank 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please, we're going back to the start. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch, and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.